Hello, everyone, and it's time for Jeanette Martin of MYBC Consulting to hijack Andy Schildhorn's Facebook
Hello.
page. That's your Facebook page that I keep coming once a month to chat with you about real estate, Andy.
Oh, thank you very much. It's always a pleasure to talk, Jeanette.
So, first off, holy smokes, are things happening in Fort Langley, my friend?
Yes.
Every time I turn around on my Facebook page, I'm learning this, that, and the other event that's happening. So how does one keep up? I know how I keep up. How do you keep up? Because you live there.
Yes. Well, there's a couple of Facebook pages that are really good to check in once in a while. One is the Fort Langley Community Association's Facebook page, and also to the Fort Langley Community Event page. And so both of those are always posting what's going on in the village.
So you mentioned the Fort Langley Community Association. Aren't you a member of that particular association?
You got me. Yes. Yeah, I've been part of the Fort Langley Community Association since I think about 2010, and
Wow.
I'm currently the chairperson, the president, have been for the last several years.
So I understand tomorrow there is a big cleanup that is happening.
Yes,
Your community or your local community is having a big cleanup. Where's that going to start tomorrow?
Sure. And Brian is who is with yourcommunity.ca has been very diligent in the Fort Langley area and Langley's and some other parts too in getting people together, bringing them all into one spot and doing a big cleanup. And so tomorrow 9 a.m. at the farmers market, everybody's meeting, and they're going to do a pre-May Day parade cleanup and make the village as presentable as possible to all the visitors that are coming on May Day.
So May Day is what date, and what is happening on May Day?
Sure. So it's the Lions May Day parade, and that will be on the Monday, and it will be the 100th anniversary of the May Day parade. So you can think that this has been going on for 100 years. It's going to be, of course, we're coming back from COVID, so we've had 2 years of not being able to have a physical May Day parade, and we've done some virtual ones in the last 2 years, but this year will be the first one in 3 years. And also too, because it's the 100th, they're going to have 100 years of cars. They'll have a car for each year. It'll be quite the parade. It'll go down Glover Road along 88th Avenue and back up Trottle Street. When I was in the fire department, I remember very clearly being in the front of the parade, handing out candy to the kids. It's the fire trucks going, and of course water fights. It was always a great time. And it's a very special time in the village.
And I know we both sit as directors on the board of the Fort Langley Jazz and Arts Festival, and we're going to have a little something in the parade too.
Yeah. So this will be the first year that I'll be as part of the Fort Langley Jazz Festival. We'll have our banner, we'll have some musicians, and we'll be passing out some little goodies along the way, and we're going to be part of the parade. Only in Fort Langley can you be part of a parade.
Well, you know what? There's this like tick. I want to live in Fort Langley. So why don't we get into these real estate numbers to let people know what's going on?
Sure. If I can share my screen, I will shoot over and we'll take a look at what's going on here. So it has been really a dramatic 4 to 6 weeks in terms of marketplace and what's going on throughout the Fraser Valley. Our market statistics, well, we're in terms of sales, the board processed 1637 sales for the month of April. That was a 36.6 decrease from the previous month of March, and a 45.7% decrease from April 2021. Drastic numbers, but you got to remember that we had a upward climb that was pretty incredible, and so I think that we're kind of coming back to normal numbers, what normal means. And if you're looking at our supply of new inventory for April 2022, it decreased by almost 21%. from March of the previous month, and 3,622 new listings for the Fraser Valley, which is also a decrease of 27.8% compared to the previous year. Total month and active inventory on the market was 5387, which is 14.6% higher than March 2022. So that what that means is that we have a little bit more inventory on the market right now, and for the last 6-8 months, I've been saying we need more inventory, we need more inventory, we need more inventory, and now we're starting to see it, and the market is starting to balance out, which is
that's good. It gives people a little bit of a choice, as well as I'm sure for you as a real estate agent. The wives and the husbands and the kids, they all have their own expectations of where they want to live. And it gives you a little bit more, well, this one has it, and this one has it, and this one has it, in the features of these houses that are out there. It must make your job a little bit easier, Andy, having better inventory.
Well, I think at this point, yes, it does, but there's a lot of buyer hesitation out there because they don't know what to do. And we saw that in the beginning of COVID too. And I'll go into a little bit of that a little bit later on, but here's our review of those statistics that I gave in the previous slide. So you can see here, this is our listings. We had 3622 new listings. Previous month was 4580, and of last year was 5,000. So that's a pretty big drop in new listings. However, and this is why we are having more listings, more inventory. Homes are taking a little bit longer to sell. Is that in April of 2021, we had 3,000 sales. Last month, we had roughly just over 2,500. And in April, there was 1,637. So we've seen a decrease in the number of sales happening, and which is due to the shock of interest rates and a little bit of buyer hesitation, like what's going to happen, where's the market going to go. So this is given a momentary pause in the market, and we've seen this in the past. We saw it here in the mortgage stress test, we saw it here in COVID, and we saw it here in the foreign buyers tax, that the volume of sales did stop, and we had a jump of inventory. Now, here, if we look down for the last 2 years, we can see that the last month we had this jump of inventory, and that's what I call the shock value, because it's over and above like COVID. The shock value is that buyers are holding back, and that we're seeing a decrease in sales, a little bit more inventory coming on the market. However, we're still in a seller's market. We're still below what is a balanced market for inventory. And I have seen some sales out there that people have priced their homes a little bit lower, and there was one in Walnut Grove that last week that had 40 offers.
Oh my gosh!
40 offers, yes, but they have priced it probably 200,000 or 300,000 below market, and that was the result. It's just that buyers are waiting. They're there, I don't like that strategy myself by pricing it way too low, but it did show me that the buyers are out there at the right price.
So it sounds like the buyers are getting themselves well prepared before they start their search.
Yeah. And I've talked to mortgage brokers. There's a lot of people that are redoing their pre-approvals and positioning themselves. Here again, this is our Fraser Valley inventory statistic again, and this is a balanced market. This would be considered 6 months of inventory, where if we were above that, we would be in buyers market area, and right now we're still in the sellers. However, this detached is coming up very quickly into balanced market, and perhaps we'll see in the next month when we talk that it'll be up into the above the 6 point mark and be into sellers territory. So it is changing.
Is this typically when people put their homes for sale, and when people are buying and selling and moving or planning on moving in, say, 3-4 months when things close?
No, this is more before getting an offer. That once you have an offer, usually it takes 6 to 8 weeks before you close. Right. So that would be something that would happen afterwards. Okay. And then if we're looking here at the Fraser Valley price index, you can start to see that this is leveling off, and that perhaps, like we're talking now of April's numbers, we're halfway through May, that this could also be starting a little bit of a downward trend. And that tier townhouses are just getting up to that. We could see that flatter. And then I think with the condos, because condos have been a little bit more tighter with that entry market, that I'm sure it's starting to flatten out. So, again, we're starting to see the market coming back to where it should be, hopefully, in terms of volume of sales, and that buyers can make an informed decision. They can do home inspections. They don't need to write non-subject offers. All those things that in reality terrifies realtors, because nobody really wants to write a non-subject offer. So here's our MLS statistics for Langley for our inventory. And again, this is a jump in the previous month. I should have had that number so that you can see the difference, but we are climbing up. Townhouses and apartments are getting higher. I think we were below 1 month in terms of—
it was 0.9 last month.
Yeah. So now it's 1.5, so it's a 50% jump, and so we're starting to see this, and yet still, homes in Walnut Grove and other areas, they're still selling very well. I do notice that the townhouses have been a bit slower, and of course condos, yes, they're definitely starting to hurt in terms of how quickly they sell. And this is our MLS statistics for price, the home price index, and you can start to see that this is starting to level off, and that again, though, 1,785,000 is the average home in Langley, whereas a year ago we were at 1.345. That's still $400,000 jump. And then, of course, here's the townhouses, still looking fairly strong, but we'll see that come off. And then, of course, the condos are, would that be March? Was 599,800, and then last month was 599,600. So it is starting to peak, and we're starting to see the flattening of the pricing. This is an interesting graph, because this is talking about affordability, and affordability also too, I would like to add, is not just the interest rate and not just the cost of purchasing a home, but affordability is, and this is it's a cumulative effect, and there's a lot of things going on, but even like the price of gas, the price of your groceries, all those things are going up right now. And so, but that's where some of that buyer hesitancy comes in. We need to see a little bit more stability in our marketplace come back. However, I wanted to talk about this a little bit. This is in October 2021, and this is taking an average of all the posted rates. If you were on a fixed mortgage, on a $500,000 mortgage, that over a 30-year term, your payment would be $1,868. And then if you look into January of this year, the rates jumped a bit. It went up to about $2,048. And then last month, with the interest rate jump, your payment went from $1,868 to if it's a fixed rate, if you took out a mortgage, that was what it was in October. If you took out a mortgage on April, then your payment would be $2,463. So that shows you that how much buyers are having to fork out every month if they purchase today as if they purchased last month, and that needs to show up in our pricing. So we're going to see a little bit of a downturn in pricing. However, the other interesting part about this is on the variable. So if you were last October on a variable rate, you were paying $1,658 a month, and you were thinking about locking in and didn't lock into that fixed rate, today you'd be paying $1,995 a month, and that is a little bit higher than the fixed rate of October of last year. So so that fixed rate is jumped over when the rates started going up, and but you're still lower by almost $500 a month on the fixed rate as opposed to the variable rate. So
that's fascinating numbers, because when you do the math, from that 1800 to 2400, that's like putting some money away for a vacation. That's like putting some money away for, you know, a kid's sport. You
Yes.
have to make
Yes.
so smart decisions these days. And it's so important to have someone like you that really understands and are jazzed by the numbers, having your mortgage broker that you have, having your notary all lined up, making sure your dream team really is making sense to go, are you okay to be getting into this house or this value house? So, wow, that's a great slide, Andy.
Yeah, I thought it was really good. My office came out with it and I grabbed it right away.
Yeah, that's a great slide.
Just to give a picture of what's going on. So yeah, so that's it for this month. You know, next month will be June 10th, 1 p.m. And so I'll be looking forward to seeing you guys there, but I'll stop sharing and come back to our beautiful faces. And
well, I'd like to wrap it up by saying thank you always for allowing me to come hijack your Facebook page so we can chat
always.
and catch up.
Yes.
And a special shout out. I know this past weekend we all said a happy Mother's Day to the people that stepped up to, that are the mothers in the world, that have been a mother or just taken on that role in people's lives. And today, Andy, I'd like to send out a special thank you, a special birthday wish and greeting to my sister, Cheryl Ann, or CK, Miss CK, as she's known over in Prague. She's at the International School of Prague. It is her birthday today. Wow. So I love and adore my older sister. So family is everything. And I know it is for you as well. So happy birthday, Cheryl Ann.
Happy birthday. And may you celebrate it well.
And one day I'll be over there to visit you in Prague so we can celebrate together. So, Andy, I'll see you back here on June the 10th.
Okay, take care. We'll talk to you soon, Jeanette. Thanks for dropping by.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everybody.